Today we're going to be fixing up a mule deer antler. For today's project, I'm going to be using this Dremel and some 220 grit sandpaper to level it out. So let's get started. Now that I got that pretty much done with the Dremel, I'm going to take the 220 grit and start sanding. So for the antler, I used a mix of wood filler for the crack, plaster for the cracks, and then I used some clay and some screws to rebuild these points. I think it's going to turn out decent, but this is the first antler I've ever done. I hope it turns out good, but I'm not sure. Oh! Okay, we're going to fire up the Dremel on a slow setting. Continue with these. So that's what they're looking like so far. Not bad, not bad. Now that I kind of got a little more of a rough shape with the Dremel, I'm going to take the 220 sand grit or sandpaper, and I'm going to get it to look like that. And it'll be good. This 220 grit, oh my gosh, grit sandpaper is working fairly good for this. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. I think there's one point pretty much down, that little one right there. I think we're going to sand it down a little more, and then we're going to get started on the bigger one, and then the little cheater right here. Getting real messy. I'm thinking my next project after I finish this one will be this elk antler that was hit by it was an elk that was hit by a semi truck. So I'm going to screw some screws in there and fix it, make it look all pretty again. But that won't be for a little while. This one's a little fat, isn't it? Yeah, probably. Oh boy. Might die. That better? Still a little sick. Oh yeah, a lot better. Oh my gosh. A broken point. Kinda. Might be able to put some clay on that. Now we just need to sand the little kicker. I need a little piece of this for that. There, we've sanded it down a little bit. I mean, it looks more like an antler, but still not quite there. I'm going to use this good old method. I haven't seen a single video on how to do this. I just found a broken antler and decided I was going to try it. I almost broke that, but I didn't. Yep. Well, I'm going to go fix this. Fix that antler with some modeling clay that I got off of Amazon and a thing of water. So let's get started. So in this little bit, I used water with clay I bought from Amazon, and I put the clay on the tip of the antler where it was broken. So now we're just gonna let it dry and then sand it down to its final shape. Now that I got my rough shape done, I'm gonna get my fingers wet and kind of touch it up a little more. Make it look a little better. Okay. Now we just wait for it to dry and then sand it down and figure out something to dye it with. And then after that dries, we are going to find something to dye it with. I think I'm going to use some coffee. It's like some coffee mixed with water and some stain mixed in with it. So stay tuned. It's the next day here, so now we're going to sand this point down that broke. Now that we've got the rough shape with the Dremel, we're going to take the sandpaper and finish it up. I think that's good. It looks like an antler now. Well, it is an antler. It just looks more like an antler. Now all I've got to do is stain it and put it somewhere. That's what it looks like so far. Looks more like an antler. I think the antler's done, so that's where we're going to call this video quits.